Hello and welcome to the third English episode of Tumcho Amcho Cinema, a series of film appreciations originally presented in Konkani by Jnanish Moghe. In today's episode, I, Deepa Moghe, bring to you the appreciation of the Polish film Cold War, directed by Paweł Pawlikowski. The film is set in the period from 1945 to 1960, the period of the Cold War, brewing up between Russia, America, and some of the European countries. Though the story unfolds against the backdrop of the brewing Cold War and reflects political dimensions, it mainly refers to the cultural transformations of the period. It is a time when Poland is under a communist regime. The government has decided to create a Polish folkloric musical and dance troupe. Along with a music director and a choreographer, a government officer is traveling from village to village in search of talent in the field of art. While on their visits to these villages, they come across folk songs sung in different local dialects, which don't really sound familiar. The immediate reaction of this government officer to such folklore is that is not ours. This discriminative approach of ours and theirs, when one comes across something unusual, something different, is very typical of bureaucracy. And the director makes this typical bureaucratic approach of the officer very clear at the outset. In the immediate next scene, this officer is seen urinating at the roots of a tall, deep-rooted tree. The director uses a mid-close shot of this officer in this scene. By showing this act of the government officer, urinating at the roots of a tall standing tree with his head held high up, the director reveals the officer's approach of looking down upon the most fundamental and valuable things that really matter in life. This character has an important role to play in the story. In the next scene, we see the officer entering a dilapidated church. Jesus' eyes peering out of the fresco painted on the worn-out walls of the church, and a piece of the sky visible through the wide opening of its fallen roof are the only two things found intact in the ruined church. The church must have been destroyed in the recently ended World War. The officer throws an indifferent look at the church and leaves, manifesting his careless attitude towards the culture, the historical heritage of the country. He has now become an integral part of the new establishment. The director has made use of the ruined church as a setup for the film, which later will reveal itself as an important part in conveying the thought behind the film. The audition and the training of the folklore artist is going to take place in a huge state home. On the very first day, while welcoming the artist, the government officer makes one thing very clear to them. He warns them by saying that they might be under the impression that everyone is allowed through this door. But the answer to it is no. Only the best of the best will make it. During this scene, the director shows a cow standing behind a group of this artist, which at that very moment turns her back and goes away. This is where we start sensing the disapproval of the very fundamental values that the folk art community nurtures, and we start to realize that the advances of this entire initiative are going to be against the idea of inclusion of all, which forms the foundation of the very existence of folk art. Zula is the main character of the film. She is not truly a folk artist, but she very cunningly convinces one of the folklore singers and manages to audition by singing a folk song along with her, and then by presenting a song from some old movie. Victor, a music director, who is overlooking the entire process of selection, is quick enough to select Zula. He sees something original in Zula, something more than just her dancing and singing skills. And here begins the tragedy of Victor and Zula's love story. Zula has been sentenced for stabbing her father fatally, but the sentence is suspended for now. She justifies her act by clarifying that she did so when her father tried to molest her. She is really good as an artist. During one of her practice sessions, when she is questioned about her father, she does get upset, but never misses. In fact, perfectly sings her next note. Their concert is a huge success. Just then, the troupe receives instructions from the bureaucracy. Clear instructions about adding something new to their repertoire, something about land reforms, world peace, and a strong number in praise of their leader. They are lured into doing this with the promise of organizing musical concerts in different parts of the world. And this is how glorification of political ideology starts happening on a cultural platform originally meant for the rejuvenation of traditional folk art forms. In the meantime, Victor and Zula deeply fall for each other. Zula wholeheartedly loves Victor. Victor wants to break through the restrictive environment that exists in Poland. Zula agrees to be by his side. Soon an opportunity comes along. One of their performances is fixed in East Germany, East Berlin, at a place very close to West Berlin. Victor decides to grab this opportunity. He convinces Zula and they both decide to flee after the performance. Accordingly, Victor waits for Zula at the decided spot. Zula doesn't turn up. Victor leaves alone for West Germany. He begins a new career in the field of music. They are no more together, but their strong attachment and feelings for each other remain unchanged. Time passes by. And once, Zula grabs an opportunity and comes to Paris to meet Victor. They are unable to forget their love for each other, though both live with their own partners now. Zula finally decides to end her career in Poland and shift to Paris to live with Victor. Victor is already a part of the elite circle of celebrated artists in Paris now. He is already preparing for recording Zula's songs, but now in French. He selects some original Polish songs translated in French for the recordings. Zula is not happy. She cannot relate to those songs. She feels that something very original about the songs is missing in the translations. When in a party, she chances upon the poetess who has translated the songs and asks her about her doubts. The explanation that the poetess gives under the guise of the word metaphor annoys Zula still further. Here we become aware about the trying situations the ethnic folk art is embroiled in at the time. In Zula's country, traditional folk art is crushed under political pressures. And in the free environment of Paris, it is being ripped of its purity and is encased within so-called intellectual interpretations. Be it a confined or a free regime, communist or democratic, redefining the very rationale of the idea of art and shaping it according to one's own convenience is something very common all around. When Victor hands over her first record of songs to Zula, he says, "Our first child." At that moment, Zula hurls the record away and utters only one word, "bastard." With this word, she is actually mocking the so-called exchange of cultural heritage that is taking place at the time. She returns to Poland without informing Victor. Victor too wants to return to Poland now. But he is neither French nor has he remained a Polish. When he says that he loves his country, the embassy does not believe him. Years pass by. His desire to return to his fatherland culminates, and he is back to Poland. He is sentenced to 30 years of imprisonment for defecting. Zula is in the meantime married to the same government officer who was the then manager of the troop. She has a young son too. But when she comes to know about Victor's imprisonment, she visits him in the prison. Using her husband's political connections, she manages to free Victor. Zula is no more the same folklore artist she once used to be. She now performs in typical pop music shows. Victor, too, is no more able to play like before. Life in the prison has taken a toll on his fingers, rendering them useless. The tragedy is moving towards its climax. They come to the same church which was referred to in the beginning as a setup. The same ruined church, wherein Jesus' eyes peering out of the fresco, painted on the worn-out walls of the church, and a piece of sky visible through the wide opening of its fallen roof are the only two things found intact. The dilapidated church symbolizes the destruction of the rich historical heritage of this country. It is a sign of its lost culture. Zula and Victor light a candle at the altar of this church and exchange promises of always being on each other's side until death does them apart. Both consume sleeping pills and come and sit on a bench under a huge tree. After a while, Zula says, "Let's go to the other side. The view will be better there." Hand in hand, they both move out of the frame. The bench on which they were seated and the huge tree on the side remain in the frame for some time, and the film ends. Is this a tragedy only of Victor and Zula's love story? It is no doubt a tragedy of these two people deeply in love, but not to forget, it is also a tragedy of a rich cultural heritage that has fallen prey to powerful political forces. The film begins with a scene of two folklore artists singing to the beat of their traditional musical instruments. Slowly the camera pans and we see a 7-8-year-old boy engrossed in listening to them. The director here indicates the easy and natural passage of the cultural heritage from one generation to another. But when such a rich cultural heritage is compromised with, for whatsoever reasons, what follows is nothing but tragedy. Paweł Pawlikowski, who won the Oscar Award for the film Ida, was presented with the award of Best Direction for 2018 for his film Cold War in the Cannes Film Festival. You can watch this film on Netflix. Friends, do make it a point to watch this film, described as flawless by experts. Next week, we shall review a short film, Break Time, by Abbas Kiarostami. The duration of the film being only 13 minutes, we shall watch the film in the beginning of the episode, and that will be followed by the film's appreciation. Besides, you can also watch this film on YouTube. To enjoy listening to film appreciations in Tumso Amso Cinema, do subscribe to our channel, Vincent Academy of Film and Media. See you next week. Goodbye till then.